Yo, I've been wanting to see your record deal. And I want to know because I want to know like what is it like? Like what are the deliverables? What's the advance?
The
Because what they're
deliverables.
paying y'all and what how they flip it changes over time. Can you like walk us through like the big points of your deal and like what bigger artists would be dealing with and like just what the whole record deal situation is?
I definitely can. I'm in the process of working on. I just did one deal with the band, and I'm in the process of doing another songwriter deal with my publishing company. So this is perfect timing, right?
Right, because immediately I couched it as your record deal, but you're like, I think about my record deal and my publishing deal. They're both equally important to me.
100%. All or your touring deal. So a song, you make a song. The business of a song is split in two parts in this music industry. There's the publishing of that song, which is the IP, the intellectual property, the concept of the song. The fact that you wrote it and came up with it is something you own. That's the publishing. Then there is the copyright or the master, which is the sonic, the actual sound and song, the audio. You own that, right? So if I write a song right now and it gets popping, everybody's listening to, and now all these people are coming to try to get a deal from me, right? This is me in 2013, first deal with my band. So this is popping. They're like record deal, what we know as Def Jam, Universal Republic, all these people come to you and say, hey, we want to sign you to our record label and we want to sign you for $150,000, which is really what they were saying at that point, right?
That was your offer in your first
That was
album.
offer. Yeah, yeah. For the first
150,000. That's your advance on your first album.
advance on the first album.
Do they
Now,
do they give you $150,000 or they give it to you in pieces?
motherfucking pieces. So they give you up front, they'll give you like, because you have to deliver the album. It's like, you ain't gonna take the money and run away. You know what I'm saying? Move to Africa. You know what I'm saying? So they gave us 75K up front.
Okay.
75K up front. Then there was, now in that money, there was a recording budget that was separate from that 150. It wasn't from the 150. There was a recording budget separate from 150 that was like 60K or something like that.
Okay, so the advance, you're not expected to make the record out of the advance. There's a recording budget, and then there's a we love you fee.
Yeah.
We
Oh
want to be
no,
in
we
business with
want
you
to
fee.
own you fee. The people, we got to look at it right. You own a song. They're saying, hey, we want to buy into your music. So we're gonna give you $150,000 to own you forever. That's what people need to understand. It's like, we want to own your song. We want to own the likeness around it. All of this
So this
for
is a 360 deal.
$150,000. Say it again.
This is a 360 deal.
Oh no. Well, it wasn't a 360 deal, but it was. I'm just saying you're owning your music. They owned the music. They own the music. It
They
took 10
own
years
they own
for me to
your
get it back.
and so from the music, you and the label get paid because it's played in certain places and that generates revenue. How does the publishing deal generate revenue for you?
Glad you asked. For me, most people don't. You're one of those artists where it's like, what song do you sing? I don't have a bunch of songs that people know. I have a bunch of songs in Verizon commercials, a bunch of Netflix. If they turn on Netflix right now, there's like 15 movies that I'm in. That's where you get money from publishing. So that's where I make the bulk of my money as an artist and a songwriter, is through publishing. So if I get it placed, like there's one show on Netflix right now called Ransom Canyon. They pay me 10K to get placed into the show. A publisher, if they're doing their job, will help you get into that show. They're pitching your song into that show to get you that 10K. But they're also buying into being ownership of your publishing, so they get 25% of your publishing, 75.
Who gets 25% of your publishing?
The publisher, if you sign a deal with a publisher, they're going to, depending in the first deal.
It's really two, right? BMI and ASCAP.
No.
Publisher.
Those are PROs. Those are public rights organizations. So public rights organizations collect all of the money from what your song is being made through radio, all these things, and then put it in one place and send you a check twice a year, or depending on how your situations.
So they are
So
not they're not publishers, they are chasing down money for you.
yeah. Performing rights organization. Yeah.
So who's your publisher?
My publisher is Warner Chappell Chamberlain. So Warner Music.
Okay.
Yeah. So Warner has Warner Music Group, the label, record label. Then they have Warner Chappell Chamberlain, which is the publishing company. Two different companies.
When your music is played in a movie, you get a check from publishing, but not from the master?
You get a check three ways. One for the publishing, one. So the 10K is the 10K, so it's 10K aside. I'm sorry. So it's 10K for the publishing, 10K for the master. So you get 20K. But if you're sharing your publishing or master with somebody, they're getting a cut out of it. So if the label owns 100% of your master, you got nothing from that thing in the movie. If the publisher,
and you probably don't own the most artists don't own their masters.
I own 100% of my masters, but yes,
but most artists don't.
Most people do not own anything.
So they got the 150,000 or whatever.
Artists, I would like to say.
Yeah, so they got the 150 or whatever when they signed, which means if we place you in a movie or a TV show, you already got your check. You don't get any more.
That's how it be going, because they're trying to make their money back. So here's something that happened to us, which we were dumb about. But at the time we got signed, McDonald's wanted to use our song Million Fans, which is like a 90s hip hop type of Wu-Tang type song, but with like guitars on it and shit. And we were like, this song's so fucking cool. It's like, I don't want this shit to be the McDonald's song. This is where we were at that time. Like, there was a time period where like being in commercials and syncs was corny as fuck. Now everybody wants to be in shit, right? Because that's where you get money. So we were like, nah, man, this could be something, and they're gonna look at us a certain way. But they were offering 60K aside. So that's $120,000. So 60K for the master, 60K for the publishing. That 60K on the master side, we would have not seen any of it. The publishing side, we would have seen, it would have gone to Recoup. If we took the deal, or if it was Adams, it would have gone. We wouldn't have signed any of both sides, really. When I think about that, if we did that, it would have been $120,000 that they just made, and we made nothing. Now, in my situation, I don't have those type of deals. There's no ownership involved. It's a partnership or licensing. Therefore, they're either administrating or I'm receiving the actual money.
Okay, so go on. So you get an advance from the label. You also do you get an advance from the publisher when you sign a publishing deal?
Yeah, bigger. It's always bigger too. Publishing is a bigger advance than because the publisher, like we said, most artists don't make any money off of it. But what really is happening is most artists don't recoup. That's the reality.
On the label deal.
On any deal. So it was $150,000 for the label deal, and it was $300,000 for the publishing deal. Right?
Okay.
That $300,000, that money is based on what they think that your catalog is basically going to be worth. And they're taking that risk because they're like, this person's on radio, they're doing this traction. This is how much it's worth to own their catalog for 10, 15 years, right? Forever. So now, say if you are Pusha T in the Clips, right? And Pusha T had that song that was Arby's soundtrack for their commercial. If you got a song in Arby's, you're making bread, right? And it's being played all over every single Arby's commercial. So that shit could be upwards to $1 million of what it accumulated, right? From just the money. So if you made that much money off your song and you recouped your deal, now you're signing a new deal. What do you think the deal is going to be if you made them $1 million? You know what I'm saying? You're looking at 10. And that's the advance that they're probably going to offer you to be a part of your catalog business again. most artists are not doing what Pusha T did or what I do, which is get songs placed in different things to make the money back to recoup, or after you recoup, which is where I'm at. After you recoup, I don't want an advance. Let's just stay in business together and keep getting these Apples and McDonald's and Netflix movies and keep getting things like that so you can acquire so you can be in business partnership with these people if you guys have a good business relationship and they're getting you good work. Or if you need the money, or it depends. It depends on how you work. Some artists, it's how you work the business. But the way that the music industry works is that they give you an advance. That advance is exactly what it is, something that you have to pay back. And everything you do pays that back. And if you cost them more money, they tag it on. Plus, this is the thing that you need to know. If they're in the business to get 25% of your profit and you get 75% and you owe them money, when you get $100,000, they're going to take their $25,000 and that $75,000 is supposed to be you. Oh no, you owe me money, so let me get that too. So the $25,000 that they took isn't to pay them back. That's what they make already anyway. So they're cutting into your profits to pay yourself back in the first place. So that's how the
When you
whole money
sign
deal works.
when you sign a record deal, what is the deliverable?
The deliverable is a finished album.
Does it prescribe like you must finish an album within this amount of time?
Yeah, a lot of times it's time, and it has to be at least 12 tracks. A lot of time is the like archaic but real. Like this would be 12 tracks. So but the 12 tracks usually meant a certain amount of time. So now it's these kids are making like 15-second songs. That's why there's 40 million tracks on there. Amount of time, and you don't really get paid for songs. It's weird. You don't get paid for songs that you make over 12 in the old record label. Because they only ask you for 12. So if you give me more, we can put it out. But that I ain't paying you for that. I asked you for 12. So that's the funny thing about
But I mean, I'm also trying to get the fans to buy the album. So I mean, at least years ago, it was like a longer album. I might be more willing to give it a chance right before streaming.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's 20 songs. I'm sure I'll like a lot of them versus it's 12 songs. What if I don't like a lot of, you know what I mean? Like that would go through the fans' mind. Does that go through the artist's mind?
If you're a real artist, you're making an album for artistic purposes. If you're doing the business thing where you're throwing a bunch of tracks on there, it doesn't matter. And today, I would argue that I think fans probably, because motherfuckers ain't got no damn time. I think fans like a concise project more so than a long project in 2025.
I mean, you hear people complaining more about the album was very long. I very rarely hear people complaining the album was too short.
Too short. Nobody. It's like people got shit to do. They got to pick up the kids.
But
Like
you sign the deal, and it says, okay, you got to give us an album within 12 months.
Now that's sketchy.
Something like that.
Something like that, but that's sketchy. Sometimes it's like when it's done, it's done. For us, we didn't have a time period. It's just like in the language, it's like on an agreed upon time. That's the type of language, but they always have say.
You're not expecting just one album.
Yes. So you usually sign a deal with options, right? So you one album deal with options. So it'll be like 1 and 5. 1, which is usually an entire artist career, because most artists don't have more than 5 albums. You know what I'm saying? Your third
5 albums is a lot.
5 albums means you are a career artist. Like you did something.
Yeah, and no greatest hits albums, and that's a lot. 5 different albums.
5 is a lot. So the first, so you sign a deal 1 and 5 options. That means that we're going to do this one album guaranteed. If it does well, we have the first option to take the next 5 records. You can't go nowhere else. That's what that means. We as a record label have 5 options. If we don't want to take those options, you can go fuck yourself.
But you signed the deal and you got half of the advance.
And then when you delivered, You deliver the album and it releases. When the album's out in stores is when you get the money. So when it's out, so this is the time when we released that first project, it was like Apple digital download. Like streaming wasn't a fucking thing. So it's like digital downloads, and it came up, and we were the first thing on Apple, on iTunes. We felt fucking amazing, right? We're playing on the radio, all that type of shit. We're like, okay, we get this. Now we can get this extra. It was like 75, 60 or whatever left. That's the advance that's coming towards you at that point, the rest of the advance after you release it.
And then, okay.
Like net 30 or some shit like that.
Does the publishing company keep giving you advances?
If you keep recouping, you get more advances. Yes. So they have the same thing where it's like, oh, it's 300 now. If you do, so for me, I signed that first publishing deal. But it was like as an artist, and I changed it over and I recouped that deal. Then I changed it over as a songwriting deal. So that's different because I was doing songwriting for other people. I'm doing things that are getting syncs.
But yeah, if you're in the business and you're not a writer, especially not a writer of lyrics, you're really left out of a lot of the ability to make money.
All of it. Because the business, like if you want to put the entire business under a scope, even though I think these are different businesses, you have the music business breaking down to the publishing, the master companies, the record deals, the publishing deals, the touring, which you get touring deals, and then your personal brand, which is your own personal brand entrepreneurship shit, whatever you're doing there. That's literally has nothing to do with the music business, that brand part. Touring is almost the same way where it doesn't have, like, you could have a strong touring career and have no hit songs, right? So
yeah, I mean, the Roots did that for a while, for sure. I mean,
so many bands. There's whole industries that live just on touring and they got no hit songs. So that's its own business. So if you are not owning your record, if you don't own the writing, if you don't own the actual recording, you can't make the profits. That's why T-Pain supposedly just sold his catalog for $100 million. He can do that from what he owns of that record. If he owned 100% of everything he did, I would think it would be way more than $100 million what he would be able to get if he owned 100% of everything. But he is the sole writer and sole artist on a lot of his songs. So that's where you can control and do all these things. And that's why you have to be, as an artist today, you have to be in the catalog business. You need to be in here creating catalog.
Wait, talk with touring. You have a touring deal? People get a deal to tour?
Yeah, you can get a deal with Live Nation. There's also other touring companies or even agencies that may pay you up front to go. Like Live Nation will pay you, I'll give you this $500,000 touring deal. You get $500,000. Now you got to go out on tour every year and pay me back.
They gave you $500,000. That's how much they gave you?
No, I didn't. We never did a touring deal.
So $500,000, but an artist of your level, you might get a $500,000 deal from Live Nation?
$500,000? Yeah, it's possible. It's possible, but not really. I don't even think they do that like that. I feel like they're giving you they do $1 million deals, and that means that you're doing like amphitheater theater level.
Okay, so let's say you get $1 million deal from Live Nation. What do you have to do for them for that?
You go out and tour. You have to play those tours because they gave you money already. So now I have to set up a tour.
Dates?
Say it again.
You have to do a certain number of dates?
Yes, certain amount of dates. There's certain and for a certain amount of time as well. You're going to have to go out on tour every summer and give me this money back. It doesn't have to be within every summer. Obviously, there's time. Someone can't tour, blah, 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 blah. But that money needs to be made back. And some people don't make anything off the ticket sale. Some people do make something off the ticket sale anyways. So
when Live Nation gives you $1 million, do you have to pay your tour expenses out of that $1 million?
Yeah, all the tour, every expense that you have is your own.
So I gave you $1 million. Now you have to figure out how to get to LA and
All that
Chicago,
shit.
etc., to
All
do
that
your
shit.
thing.
Yeah, yeah. All of it. It's got to be part of the.
So going into that, you or your manager would have said, okay, it costs us, let's say, $500,000 to do 20 theaters in this country, and you probably want us to do 20 theaters, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
They they
maybe
want you to make a
30.
certain amount of profit.
Yeah, right. We want you. Well, oh, they want you to sell a certain number of tickets.
That's it. I want you to sell. Okay, we want you to do these 20 dates. I want you to sell 5,000 tickets every day. That's a lot. 20 days, 5,000 tickets every date, and I'm going to take a piece of all those tickets. I'm also going to upcharge those patrons, and I'm making money off of the freaking hot dogs and the chips. They make so much fucking money off of giving you $1 million. They probably make 25.
So wait, so they gave you $1 million. When I buy the ticket, I'm giving you some, but I'm giving them a chunk. And I
Yeah.
buy popcorn. That's all for them. What about when I buy a King Green T-shirt?
That, if Live Nation's a part of that, it's possible. But then a lot of times, which we were a part of, you get a merch deal where they
Okay.
pay you up front, and now you're selling merch to make that merch people money. And sometimes that's packaged within the Live Nation too, that they'll make money off the merch.
You've said repeatedly that a lot of these deals aren't recouped.
A lot of them.
So artists are being given stacks and you get kind of close to what we gave you, but I mean, is there a penalty or something for not?
No, that these are high interest loans, fucked up loans that you don't have to pay back. That's the only thing. It's like you don't really have to pay back. If they really wanted to do some legal shit to get their money back, that could be a thing. But you don't have to pay these things back because they, like you said before, they're okay with giving all these artists all this money when Rihanna makes them $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'll take these chances on all these artists because I don't know who's going to make me $1 billion.
That's true. Yes. Yes. Leor Cohen said to me a long time, one hit artist will pay for 10 shots, right? Just like we can take 10 chances and see who rises because we have Rihanna or Taylor or Drake or Weekend or whoever who will pay for everything. And thus we can like gamble these other places. So that's what you're saying, right?
That's literally what they're doing with every
and I know in book publishing, if you don't earn out, you get a bad reputation, and the publishers start to say, "Don't give him a deal because he's not going to make your money back." Like, does that come into it?
100%. Come on, this is business.
So there is a penalty for not recouping.
Yeah, well, I'm saying you don't owe them money, but yeah, we ain't working with you. We ain't giving you a deal. And there's 3 record labels. You think they don't talk to each other? It's like, that guy sucks. He don't make no money. If you want to sign him, that's fine, but he don't make no damn money. So you trying, but the easiest way to get a record contract is to have one already. That's what my cousin told me that when I started rocking with him, and he has his own management company, has very successful artists, and he was like, once you get one, you can get another. It's about how you get busy, and that's literally how it's getting into it is the hard part, and first hard part, then understanding the business to make it cater to you so you could actually be a business person. Because a lot of times people right now are like independent, which I agree with, but and ownership. But if someone is not servicing your work for it to make money, if you're not doing it yourself, then what the fuck are we talking about? You could be independent making no damn money all you want, but if you have somebody helping you create value, some type of partnership, whether it's licensing or not, that makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't advise anybody to sign 90% of the record contracts that exist, but
Why not?
because you don't own, because 90% of them is you're not going to own anything.
You're not going to own anything.
And you're not going to own anything, and it won't help you progress if you are at that smaller. If you already created value for yourself, you're now everything is fine. You made value for yourself. You're making money. People are going to come try to work with you. If you have not created value for yourself, they're going to try to come and own it and tell you to work to create value. That's usually how it goes. And then TLC or anybody like that, what happens after is like you do create value within the system, and now they own everything, and they're like, you signed this shit. They're like, you signed it. What am I supposed to do? And on a legal front, they right, but on some real shit, that's fucked up.
I mean, yeah, you guys enter the industry generally with very little money, want to make some money. They
From
offer
an
you a
area and from a place that doesn't talk about money too. You know?
right. They hand you a big check. Of course, you're going to say yes. It takes a lot of vision to say, like, okay, so I don't actually own my music anymore, but I did get a big check out of it.
Especially when you're making it for free.
What else about the deal you think would surprise people to learn?
About the deal that would surprise people to learn, a lot of the creative. So it's changed now, where the whole thing with Taylor Swift, where you will get your masters back after a decade or so, right? Is what they might have that language in there. No, my bad. It's not that you get your masters back. You're able to make a new recording, a new master after 10 years, because they own that master no matter what. My bad. I misspoke. They own that master whatever, no matter what. So 10 years from now, you could record a new one. That's been in record contracts since the 50s because of how music used to work. Because you remember we said people used to sell lyric sheets and music sheets, then vinyls, and 7 people would sell the same song, but the Beatles version goes crazy, so they make the most money. So, but you wrote it, so now I could re-record my own song. So that's what Taylor Swift did, and that's what we did too. It was 2013 to 2023. We re-recorded our album and put it out, so we could be able to get the master off of something if it got into an Apple commercial or something like that. Now we could get both the 60 on one side, 60 on the other side. So that's what Taylor Swift's whole gripe was, that people don't know that they're going into this thing knowing that the publishing part, you can re-record the song or you own that part. So the whole owning the actual audio is very important for later on.
There's also the notion of you don't really know how much your song has generated.
Oh my God. No fucking clue.
How do you really know what you're owed?
You have to do research, audit the label. There's lawyers and finance teams that can do that if you have the money to audit everything. And we're talking about everything. So this is so convoluted. You brought up BMI and ASCAP. These are companies that go around the fucking globe to see who's playing your song, and collect the mechanical royalties of your.
There's a bowling alley in the outskirts of Paris that played $1 million. They're going to figure that out and get some money from them, and then distribute you a little bit.
Exactly. And then distribute that and only pay you like twice a year or something like that. So who knows that they're doing that? Who knows if, and there's so much money that gets collected that gets unclaimed. And after it's not claimed, I think it goes to like whichever companies found it or some shit like that. I don't know the exact things like that, but there's money after a while that is just unclaimed. It gets to nobody, but it gets directed. So who knows if they might be holding this amount off or whatever. Like, we have no freaking clue. Same thing with streams. Oh, you got 1 million streams on $1 million. I don't know if it was 2 million or 1 million. Like, we don't fucking know. There's no way to audit these niggas.
Somebody said to me, the music business is like your boss gets your check. Only your boss sees your check. And then your boss tells you, this is how much you made, and this is how much I'm giving you. And you're like, well, can I see the check? No, you can't actually see your paycheck. You can't see the raw numbers of what you actually sold, which is bananas.
Insane. And that's the same thing with sync stuff because it's just everywhere. Knowing where things get played, because technically you're supposed to get played when other people play your song too. If you wrote it, if they play it live, and you get played when it gets played in bars or in Target and all that. It's just everywhere.
So if you go on stage and sing, let's say, Family Affair, Sly Stone or whoever owns that song is supposed to get a little something?
Yep.
Because
From the venue.
Because the venue has to pay. Interesting. So
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so convoluted. But the thing that I want to put out is like there is so much money in the music business when you own your music. There's so much money. You could have a perfectly fine life owning your music if you're putting the work in to get some stuff out there and pay your damn bills. That's the thing that people don't understand. And a lot of times people are chasing really celebrity fame and notoriety and not chasing the check or stability. It don't even need to be a check. It's like, think about like, how do I eat? It's like, how do you make this turn this into eating? So there's that. But because of all those things, because if I own it, I'm getting BMI, I'm getting publishing, I'm getting the sync, I'm getting the stream. You put all these pennies together, it's like, oh shit, now it's $1.
Yeah. Look, this has been a really fascinating dive in. I don't know what other questions people have. So go in the comments. What questions would you like to ask about record deals, publishing deals, touring deals? And we'll compile those comments and questions and do another version of this.
$1 million in the bank.